What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. We had that Pokemon Direct yesterday, and when they announced the paid DLC, I was very curious to see how the internet would react to that, but we'll talk a bit about what was in that Direct, I guess what you can look forward to this year for Pokemon, because there's actually quite a few things announced there, and I guess the overall reaction and what this technically means for the Pokemon game franchise going forward, because it does appear that downloadable content will be playing quite a role for these games in the future. And then also, WB Montreal. I don't know what they're doing right now, but they keep teasing Batman for some reason. We'll talk about their latest tease and why they just need to announce this thing at this point. As always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit the like button. It does help out quite a bit. You guys have been liking a lot actually throughout the past few weeks, and it has been helping the videos, and you can see it, so I do appreciate you guys helping out. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe down below with that red button so we can make our way to 400,000 subscribers. We are just under 20,000 subscribers away now, so that's really exciting to see. We're actually going to start today with Resident Evil 3. Of course, a lot of people were really excited to see that get announced, and really excited to see that it's actually closer than a lot of people were expecting in the like the first half of 2020. Well, we did get a bit more information from the PlayStation UK magazine, and on Twitter, Nibble actually went ahead and just did a nice little summary here, as you're seeing, where he talks a bit about some of the different things that are going to be in Resident Evil 3, including Nemesis being based on the Tyrant, but better AI. And they actually created a real Nemesis to scan Nemesis. Okay, we're going to come back to that. There's no Mercenaries mode. Mutant Worms will return. Carlos is actually going to be playable, and there's no multiple endings. I did see a lot of people a little annoyed that there is no Mercenaries mode. I don't know if they left that out because it's part of Project Resistance, but then the no multiple endings thing had some people a bit confused, maybe talking a bit about why that would be. It's honestly, it's hard to say. Maybe they just wanted to have a straightforward, just single-player game playthrough here, and you don't have these multiple endings that, I mean, from what you could tell, I played Resident Evil 3 like once when I rented it, so I didn't even do all of the separate endings anyway, but from what I was seeing, the choices that you make in the game didn't vary too badly, but I guess they just wanted to go for a more straightforward approach, as it's technically part of Project Resistance. Who knows there? The idea, though, of having a Nemesis from Resident Evil 3 created in person, sitting around for you to scan, is absolutely terrifying. So I hope that they include that, either the creation process of Nemesis or them sitting around with Nemesis in the office or something, as part of a behind-the-scenes feature in the game. That'd be a neat thing to unlock, right? It's like the creation of Nemesis, and it shows like this time-lapse of them making him. That would be really cool. But exciting stuff there for Resident Evil fans. It seems like they did a lot of attention to detail in this game, and I'm sure a lot of people are really excited to be playing it in just a couple months. Also, if you're a fan of Doom and you already picked up Doom and Doom 2 on your Switch or PlayStation, your Xbox. Remember it shadow dropped on the Switch, and people, that thing jumped to through Twitter's trending. It went to the top of the eShop. People were all over classics. Doom and Doom 2 are great games, they're classics, but they do, of course, have some hiccups. They fixed, I believe, some of the audio issues, and now it looks like they put out another patch that adds some extra content and introduces some new features. 60 frames per second, for example, up from 35 that it was pretty much locked to before. So 60 frames, much smoother, obviously, there. They're going to be adding a quick save option, and then they're going to be adding in the extra bit of content Sigil, the add-on from John Romero, into the game. And you can go do this now. You can go download it now, update it, and start playing with the 60 frames per second, the quick save, and the extra content. I do like this. This is cool to see them add this in, and I'll be curious if they add anything else in going forward. But hey, go check it out now. It's available, and you can go back to playing some classic Doom with better frame rate and some new content. Also, it looks like Game in the UK, the retail chain that, of course, sells video games, is struggling. And I don't think that's too surprising, as we see GameStop, which is a large retail chain of video game stores, also struggling. Game in the UK is looking to shut down 40 stores this year, and the reason they're pointing to has to do with rent for these different stores just not making sense, being too high. Now, when you bring rent into the equation, you start talking about that. I mean, you're going to have to deal with rent no matter where you are. For the most part, you could be an online store, of course, or I guess sell out of like a truck or something, but you'll have rent. The fact that they start pointing to that does concern me a bit for the overall business itself, because that is usually a given, but when you're complaining or talking about rent as actually shutting down stores, that does make me wonder how close game is cutting it. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start with this Pokemon Direct. There were several announcements here. First off, Pokemon Home, we'll find out more information about that next month in February. It does appear to be a paid service, as I think everyone expected it to be, and you will want to be using that when you find out a bit more about these expansion packs and the expansion pass, I guess, you'll be buying, because it does look like they will have quite a bit of stuff in these packs, and you won't necessarily need them to get the 200 plus Pokemon that are being added as a part of this. So we will have 2 different packs that will be released throughout the year. Now, there is a lot of confusion around the pricing for this, and to be fair, they didn't make it very clear on the live stream completely anyway, and it showed when people online were all over the place and confused about the pricing. So very quickly, there will be 2 packs, and it'll be $30 total for those 2 packs. So if we really got to break it down, it's $15 a pack, right? That's the best way to look at it there. But that only works for one version of the game. Each game has its own expansion pass, basically. So let's say you have Pokemon Sword and you want the 2 expansion packs. It's $30 more. There you go. So you bought the game for $60, $30 more, you get the expansion pass with the 2 packs, $90, you're good. But let's say you also have Shield, which was another $60, and you want to have the same packs on there, you got to buy it again. So each game has to have its own pass. And there are slight differences. They were showing different characters in either one. So I don't know how that's going to go over with some people when we get to the point where it comes out. Although, to be fair, if you bought into the $120 game that is Pokemon when it releases, basically, you've probably already accepted that you got to buy another pass. Now, the 2 different packs, we have the Isle of Armor, and that's actually coming in June of 2020. And then there's the Crown of Tundra, and that's coming autumn 2020. So they are spread out a bit here. Now, like I said, they're going to have several areas, new wild areas to explore, and they also talked about a ton of legendary Pokemon. They showed a ton of them in here, and that makes sense as they want people to buy into these packs. They are going to be putting some pretty good content behind them. But there is one other thing you have to understand here. They are updating the current game, Sword and Shield, to accept these Pokemon in trades, or I guess through Pokemon Home, if you can trade through Home. There are other ways to get it rather than having to buy in. So they are adding these Pokemon in, and if you have a friend that has bought into these expansion packs and they're getting these Pokemon, you could say, hey, can you trade them to me? And if they are able to do that, then you will get them anyway. They're not necessarily locking them completely behind and you have to get these packs. Not necessarily. Now, are they making it harder for you to get these Pokemon if you don't buy into the packs? Yeah, they are, because you're not going to be just walking around in the wild areas and just catching Pokemon. You have to have someone else who has that pack in some way, whether it's through online trading with Home and all this. There's got to be another way for you to get to those Pokemon outside of just buying the pass. You have to have someone. So they made it a little difficult there. Now, there was some controversy around paid DLC existing in the first place, but they at least did something smart on the live stream. They brought up why this paid DLC is existing, and that's because they want to forego that third and fourth version, as we had Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Generally, there is a third version of the game, right? Think of like Platinum, think of Emerald, think of Crystal, Yellow even. There's always that like third version they put out like a year or so later. In this case, they just want to go the straight up downloadable content route, and I actually think that's better. Like, if you really think about it, look, if they don't do if they do another game, and it's the third game in this, then what they just said is meaningless, right? At that point, I'm like, well, good luck, Pokemon Company, you're on your own on that one. But if they stick to this, and it's $30 for someone who wants that extra content, they don't necessarily have to spend $60 to get that third game. I guess that's technically better for us. And then there was also the thought of, well, did they just cut this content from the game? And the answer to that is yeah, they told us that. They told us they were cutting content. They had to pick what they were going to do, and they decided, well, to get this game out on time and to get everything into this game as much as we can, we're going to have to pick to leave some Pokemon behind. That's just, they told us that already. So yeah, they technically did. And when you look at this, the stuff's not coming out now. It's not coming out till June. It's still out 5 months or so. And then autumn for this stuff could be, like 8-9 months away for this entire thing to complete anyway. And if you look beyond that even, this actually means that they don't have to package and ship a whole nother game. They can probably have an entire other holiday with Sword and Shield, which to me means this might end up being like the best-selling Pokemon game ever, specifically because they are leaning into the downloadable content aspect to continue making it relevant. Now, I will admit, I don't think there should be two different packs. I think there should be two different packs of the expansion packs. I don't think there should be two different passes. I think you just buy a pass and it just links to your Nintendo account and like, that's it, right? Does there really need to be one for Sword and one for Shield if you own both of them? Probably not. That's the thing. I look at that and I say, that probably doesn't need to be the case, because then it's $60 if you want to get both of them together, and the whole thing, technically, if you want to buy all of it, ends up being $180. I look at that and I say, yeah, that's quite a bit for Pokemon on that side. But I guess if you were buying them anyway, it would have been $160 for what? Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. So it's never really been cheap if you want to have all of the stuff, I guess, all of the games from Pokemon. Now it's just downloadable content as well. We also had another game announced. We had Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. That's right, people were going into this direct expecting something else other than Sword and Shield information, or even Sleep or Home. We were kind of thinking of a spin-off game, and then like an hour before the direct happened, it started to get out there that there was going to be some sort of Mystery Dungeon game here, and it looks like it's actually a remaster of the DS game. And it's currently titled Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX. And there's a demo out now, which is really cool. I like when these demos come out. It appears that your save data will also carry over to the game when it launches on March 6th. So this is, once again, a game that has been announced about 2 months out. And it doesn't look like, looking at it anyway, that it's a massive project. Like, you can download the demo now. I played it. It still feels like that DS game. It does. Those mystery dungeons, I was not a massive fan of. I think it was fun on the DS because, it's the DS. It's like, there's only so much you can do with the visuals and some of the gameplay at that time. And it was obvious that it wasn't the main focus then. But I think I would have preferred for them to just create a mystery dungeon game for 2020, like now. I think it's great for people who are fans of that one, but I do believe that some people are going to go into this, play it, and say, I think I'm just going to go back and play regular Pokemon. But I think that's why the demo's there, so people can try it. So yeah, it's there. Go ahead and download it. For fans of Mystery Dungeon, you're probably already going to buy it. I think that's great that you get that game. And I hope that they look into more spin-offs, because Pokemon Snap 2 still hasn't happened. Next up, we had a bit of a scare around Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. Now, we had a GameSpot interview. And in that interview, it appeared that the person was kind of taking a guess, I guess, that Final Fantasy VII Remake demo would launch on the same day as Final Fantasy VII itself. So March 3rd, it would come out alongside of it. And to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense because, all right, so at the end of the demo, based on leaks and stuff people have talked about here, it says pre-order now at the end of it. And to me, that means that it's coming out before the game launches, right? It's not just you're not gonna get it, the demo alongside the game, and then it's like, oh, go pre-order it, but the game's already out, so you can't pre-order it. So to me, when I heard this, I was like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. But then they put this up on that same article. This piece originally stated a Final Fantasy VII Remake demo would launch alongside the game. This was an incorrect assumption on GameSpot's part, and we regret the error. So yes, it looks like they were just kind of just taking a guess at it, and it has had people freaking out just a little bit as we want the demo like soon. Like now, like I'd like to play. It's sitting on the PlayStation Store ready to go, right? So basically, every day I look online when I get up and I'm like, that demo out yet? I want to play it. I think people are expecting it to launch at the end of this month. I was hoping it would have been at the beginning of the month. Technically, any day they could show up and say, hey, the demo's there. Because, it's up now. They just have to flip a switch and let it go public. So here's hoping it's sooner rather than later. I do hope it's not out like a week before the game comes out, because I'm just ready to check this demo out and get back to the world of Final Fantasy VII. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about WB Montreal and how they cannot stop teasing Batman without actually showing Batman. I have no idea where they're announcing this thing. I don't know if there's a state of play coming. I don't know if there's a cross-generation game. I thought this thing would have been announced like a couple months ago, because it feels like they've been teasing it for months. We thought, oh, maybe Game Awards, maybe that last state of play. Nothing. Like, nothing. I don't know. It's very strange they have continued to tease this with images of crests, which they did again here, and it was accompanied by a slogan, capture the night. And at this point, we're pretty sure a lot of the details have already leaked out anyway. Like, I don't know if there is another State of Play coming up or if they're holding it because it is a cross-generation game for the next Xbox and PlayStation 5, and one of them is holding an event. I can't imagine that they are going to wait until E3, because that's a while from now still, and they have been seemingly putting more and more teases out there. I mean, they showed the crest. It appears to be something with the Court of Owls, and the word is that it's like Batman Arkham Legacy or something, and they're going to have parts of the family, the Batman family, kind of taking part in this game, and it sounds fine. Like, it sounds like it's going to be fun, but why do they keep teasing it? Like, just put the trailer out there, or do something. Put a date out there. Do that. There you go. Put a date out there that when we can expect the announcement. An announcement of an announcement, so we can finally see this Batman game. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This one's from Bagman saying, I hope the Retron Jr. is about $50, but I have a feeling it'll be around the Hyperkin 77, around 80. Still have my fingers crossed for a fully backward compatible PS5. First of all, that Hyperkin 77 is, I think, overpriced badly there at $80. That's the one that I think plays the Atari games. Yeah, I don't get why that's so expensive there. Maybe it's just because it's just the market and they're like, oh, only so many people are gonna buy this thing, let's make it expensive. That Game Boy player, for the quality that Hyperkin puts out, shouldn't be more than, I would like to say 40, but it'll probably be $50 if I had to take a guess. Hyperkin's quality is pretty poor generally, so wait for someone to check it out online. I'll try to get one and we'll take it apart and see how it's built inside, but I don't have a lot of confidence based on what I've seen from Hyperkin in the past. Also, yeah, PS5, here's hoping. That's one of their big reveals at their event where they say it's backwards compatible with everything, but that PS3 still has me unsure of that whole situation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go do it here for Newswave. Enjoyed this video, guys. Hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we've talked about, whether it's that Pokemon Direct and the paid DLC. I was very curious how the internet would react to it. You know what? I think it reacted a bit better than I thought it would, so let me know about that down below. And if you're picking up the pass, definitely want to hear about that. Also, what about the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo? When do you think it's coming out? And then this Batman game. It's time to reveal it, right? Thanks, guys, for watching. Have a great weekend. I'll see you back here Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time for Newswave.